Hey, Boyer,
Look at
are we allowed to do
crowd here.
something controversial as that?
Nice to see everybody.
in a Public meeting?
I would,
Okay.
if I win
It's still nasty.
Oh, okay. This is not in the meeting.
All right, Teresa, I'm going to open first. Just come back.
you, him. How you been? It's been a while.
And you heard about your health issues?
I'm the one that told you.
Oh. Have you talked to anyone about moving them over, or you're just doing it?
I already talked to Connie.
Okay.
You guys ready? And good morning, and welcome to the Lorain County Board of Commissioners. It's Friday, June 30th, 2023. It's 9:30 a.m. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Madam Clerk,
Commissioner Moore,
I am here.
Commissioner Riddell,
Here.
Commissioner Hung.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Cool.
Presentations.
Yep.
Citizens for Equal Representation for Lorain County, Brian Hoagland and Homer Taft.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
Morning.
One of those is a microphone and one is a light.
Oh, okay, thank you. Can y'all hear me?
Yep.
Awesome.
This is loud.
That's it. Good morning. Our group, Citizens for Equal Representation for Lorain County, has advocated for many years for representation by district for county commissioners, as opposed to 3 commissioners elected at large. Previously, we circulated a petition that 10% of the voters of Lorain County favored by supporting and signing their name, asking for a public vote. We had legal technicalities that prohibited it from getting on the ballot, but feedback we received from a large number of Lorain County residents was that they favored the change in the form of government. Some commenters expressed they did not like some of the provisions in the charter. However, most of the voters were all in favor of it. Some of the provisions that they did not like had to do with the elimination of election of 5 of the positions in the elected positions, making them appointed positions. However, no one we heard from had opposed any of the ideas of a smaller representative form of government with the election of commissioners. They liked having 7 commissioners, each from their own geographic district of about 45,000 residents. That guarantees the residents have somebody in their district where they live be one of the commissioners, and there's a better chance of them knowing the commissioner. It also fosters more communication between the commissioners and the residents. It's also very expensive to campaign over 300,000 people in the whole county wide, as opposed to a district where you live with 45,000 residents. There are many other good reasons why 7 districts is better, in our opinion, than having 3 council members at large, but I'm not going to get into all those today. So while we had a large number of Lorain County residents in favor of the charter government, based on past feedback, we believe even more residents will be interested in a new form of government that we'd like to start. This will still have 7 districts, but it does not have some of the provisions that a lot of the people were not in favor of. Section 302.03 of the Ohio Revised Code permits commissioners to place before voters at any general election an alternative form of government. We propose and request that commissioners put to vote the 7-district plan for 7 equal district elections of commissioners. Now, I want to stress that the elected positions that I referred to earlier will not be changed or eliminated or appointed. Nothing will change there with them. Those elections would occur in 2024, and the terms would begin January of 2025. The terms have to be staggered, so initially 4 of the members would be elected for a 4-year term, and 3 would be elected for a 2-year term, and that's per Ohio Revised Code. We further propose that the alternative form of government be an appointed executive form to serve at the pleasure of the county commissioners, as also provided by state law. It's similar to the appointed position we have right now and we've had for a really long time, so this is no different, no change than what we've always been doing. Any alternative form of government must also provide for a level of compensation of the commissioners expressed as a percentage of the compensation of one commissioner of the county. We recommend the commissioners consider setting that compensation at 60% of the compensation of a single Lorain County commissioner. We wanted to find a salary that was attractive, that would provide excellent candidates, but not burden the county with too much of an expense. We also feel like it's the workload compared to a city council member, and like them, the idea is to attract qualified people, but it's to add to their regular pay, as this is a part-time job. We also looked at the county, Cuyahoga County, and how they pay their 11 commissioners, and feel like this is well in line with that. It amounts to roughly $56,000 per year. Citizens for Equal Representation had previously paid experts to divide the county into 7 districts. This year, we re-engaged Dr. Mark Saling of Cleveland State University and Triad Consulting to update the district maps based on Lorain County's 2020 census. The previous maps they had drawn for our group were based on 2010 census, so they had to be updated. Dr. Saling and his partner at Triad, Bob Dyke, are considered experts and well known for creating non-gerrymandered maps. Their maps comply with state and federal guidelines, create a minority-majority district, and they work to try not to split any city wards. They've drawn maps for districting for Cuyahoga and Summit counties and are willing to come before you again if you have questions for them about their process. We urge the commissioners to submit an appointed executive alternative form of government with the 7 districts as presented here and put it before the Lorain County voters at the 2023 general election in November of this year. We thank you for your time and consideration, and we're happy to answer any questions that you have. Homer Taft is another member of our group, and he's here to discuss some of the legal provisions of the document. Thank you.
Good morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Commission President Moore, Commissioner Hung, Commissioner Riddell. I am Homer S. Taft. I'm an attorney at law, live in the city of Vermillion, Lorain County. I suppose, having claimed my attorney status, even though I'm semi-retired, I should say my registration number is 0025112, if anyone wants to check. My principal purpose here today is to discuss a little more of the legal background of the decisions that the commissioners would have to make if you need to, and choose to put a alternative form of government on the ballot for the voters to decide. There's 4 decisions essentially that you must make if you make that decision, and one that you may make if you choose to, and that we're asking you to make. The first is whether it'll be an elected executive or an appointed executive as you have now. The second is whether you will have, what number of commissioners you will have. It can be anywhere from 3 to 21 under the code. The third is whether they will be at large or in single-member districts, or some combination of the two. And the fourth is the compensation that they are to be paid. Those 4 things must be decided to submit something to the voters. And I've also tried to present in the materials we gave you sample ballot language where I highlighted the 4 areas that you would have to make a determination. The 5th issue, you may determine the districts. If you fail to determine the districts as a part of your resolution, then the Board of Elections, upon your passing the resolution, is mandated 45 days before the election to determine the districts so that they can be published and sent to all the voters. We would recommend to you it's better to have that well in advance and have everybody have plenty of time to absorb it. So I will walk you through some of the provisions of the code. As Mr. Hoagland said, Chapter 302 is what governs alternative form of government and your decisions. In Section 302.03A of the revised code, it says that you may place the proposal before the voters by a 2/3 majority for the next general election occurring not less than 90 days after the resolution has been submitted. In putting it before the voters, under Section 302.02, the proposal shall either be an elective or appointive executive pursuant to either 302.15 or 302.16 of the revised code that describes the two different positions. Under 302.3C, the commissioners must designate how many commissioners shall be elected, ranging from 3 to 21, being an odd number. They also decide whether and how many of those commissioners shall be at large, and whether and how many of those shall be by districts. Pursuant to Section 302.05 of the code, the new commissioners have to be compensated according to a percentage of the compensation currently provided to members of this county commission under Section 325.10 of the revised code. So the commissioners must specify that percentage. The proposition for an alternative form of government may designate the boundaries of the districts to be used under Section 302.041 of the revised code, which also is what describes the ballot language that is required if you pass a resolution to put it on the ballot. As previously stated, if you fail to designate districts, the Board of Elections must do so by 45 days prior to the general election, November 7th of 2023, which is when we ask you to put it on. The ballot language used for a strictly at-large election would be Section 302.04 of the revised code, but the ballot language for any plan including districts would be 302.041 of the revised code. You have been provided with districts and with statistics as proposed by Citizens for Fair Representation of Lorain County and as drawn by Dr. Salling and Mr. Dykes of Triad Research that has done many, many redistricting well known in the area. They provide roughly equal districts with a lot of community of interest within the districts. We would ask you to consider those because we believe they comply with all of the requirements of law for equal proportion of representation. They also have the advantage of having one minority-majority district, so that there's the possibility of great diversity of representation in the districts that are provided. As Mr. Hoagland has stated, the Citizens for Equal Representation suggests compensation of 60%, or about $56,000 a year for each commissioner. That's enough. It may not be a full-time job, but particularly standing up the new form of government is going to be a very dedicated part-time job for good people. And you're going to want to make sure that they're willing to spend the amount of time necessary in order to do that. And we believe that would fairly compensate the commissioners for the efforts that are going to be asked for them. If there's any questions from Mr. Hoagland or for myself now, we're certainly happy to answer them. We've also provided a written schedule or description of the districts to show how they have been laid out. And as Mr. Hoagland stated, with the exception of North Ridgeville, where we couldn't get it done, no ward has been divided. and most cities remain intact. Elyria and Lorain, which have more than the number of people that you could put in one district, have more than one district, but one district is completely contained within each of those cities. Part of Ward 4 of North Ridgeville had to be in a different district for equality of population. Dr. Selling and Mr. Dykes are available should the commissioners ever want it. And for myself, you can call my law office number, which is 440-333-1333, anytime, or 33s, 1133s, anytime you want to, if you have any further questions or we can be of any further assistance. I thank the commissioners.
No, thank you. Anyone have any questions? Okay. What I'd like to do is wait until July 11th, and if we could get Dr. Salinger, or if you guys can come on back, and I'd like to have, at least it gives us 10 days to review the paperwork to make sure it lines up, and have a public discussion on that day. And I want to add it as a resolution to pass or fail from the three of us. But to me, my belief is I believe the public, the citizens of Lorain County should have a choice on whether or not to keep this style or go to the alternative form of government. So I'd like to, how about this? We'll be putting it on the agenda on July 11th if you guys can make it happen with the people that worked on it, so that we can have more public discussion at that point when it's brought up in regards to how they came up with the numbers and how they divided it up. Okay?
Sure.
Is that okay?
We can confirm back to you too that Dr. Sowling and or Mr. Dyke will be available.
Oh, okay. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Okay,
Thank
no,
you very
thank you
much.
very much, gentlemen, for coming in and
Thank you for your time.
did a good job of explaining it. Dan, do you want this, Dan? Do you have a copy? Okay, so you'll be reviewing the language and,
Yes, I will review language. Language in the statute, so
Yeah.
the language, that should be a very quick review, the language is in the statute.
yeah, okay, because, okay. You'll be ready on the 11th, right? You're ready today, aren't you?
We'll be ready on the 11th.
Okay.
Provide whatever advice the board needs.
Okay, thanks. Okay, Madam Clerk?
Under resolutions, number 1, investments.
These are today's investments. Move to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Number 2, appropriations.
Okay, these are the appropriations. Item number 4, it's not it's the runway rehabilitation project. It's not the runaway, so anyway, so it's the runway work that we got federal dollars from the FAA to fix our runway, which we started talking about 18 months ago. So it's nice to see that moving. Oh, probably, so, okay. Move to approve.
Second?
Any further discussion? Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Number 3, transfers.
These are today's transfers. Any questions? If not, I move to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Excuse me.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Number 4, advances, repayments.
These are today's advance and repayments. I move to approve.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Number 5, requisitions.
Okay, this is page 1 of 4. I do have an issue on item number 1229. Got Karen up there in the front row, so I want to have her share with you the discussion I had with everyone, or with her earlier. Want me to
Morning,
lead, or do you
Commissioners.
want to lead? Go ahead, I'll let you lead.
So the requisition is from the Lorain County Auditor's Office, and it's for 12 AED devices. And the question that Commissioner Moore had for me this morning was if I was aware of the location where they were going to be installing these 12 devices. And the answer to that is no, I do not know. So I did reach out to Jeanette Jackson, our safety risk officer, this morning, and she did not have that information. I guess she has not had a conversation with the auditor's office as far as the location of the AEDs. And in addition to that, this requisition includes almost $1,300 for training for 9 employees, and we do not know who those 9 employees are. So I don't know if there's any availability for some of our own employees throughout the building to be trained on the AEDs.
Here's the question that I had, and I think the public heard what I was hearing. I don't know is not an answer, and so when Karen mentioned I don't know several times, I said I may ask to have this agenda item pulled because we're purchasing 12 units and we're training 9 employees, and we have no idea, is it just gonna be on one floor, is it gonna be on all 5 floors, and who are the nine employees? We're leasing this, we're not buying these, which is fine, based on what she said to me earlier before the meeting, is maybe it's better to lease, so then they have the responsibility of maintaining the batteries and that their working product. So to my opinion is, considering that there is too many I don't knows in that, I'd like to hold this until our next meeting on July 11th, if that's okay with the board. So what I'm gonna do is go to page 2 now of 4. This is page, oh, that's page 1. Okay, this is page 2 of page 4. Any questions? Seeing none. Page 3 of 4. And page 4 of 4. Okay, does anybody have any questions? If not, then I'm gonna make a motion to approve pages 1, 2, 3, and 4 with, included in my motion is gonna be pulling item number 1229 from the agenda to hold until July 11th, until our administration can find out what more details in regards to that. So that's my motion for an
Second.
approval.
Any further discussion? Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Riddle?
Aye.
Number 6, travel.
This is travel, move to approve.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Riddle?
Aye.
Number 7, bills.
These are the bills that need to be paid. I think we have a couple pages. Move to page 2. Can't hear Victor, is there a page 3?
No.
Okay. Move to approve pages 1 and 2 of the bills.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Riddle?
Aye.
Number 8, commissioners may recess an executive session to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of public employee or official.
Could you put the updated personnel summary sheet? There as well. I think it's gotta go, oh wow, look at that. Okay, this is the personnel summary sheet. Any questions? Okay, I move to approve the personnel summary sheet.
Second?
Discussion.
Yeah, we don't plan on going into executive session today, so.
Anything further?
No.
Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Riddle?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Public comment on agenda items.
Yes, Brian Baker, you've identified that you wish to speak in regards to our agenda on item number A, in regards to the presentation.
Good morning, Commissioners. Brian
morning.
Baker, 49822 Greystone Drive, Brownhelm Township, with an Amherst mailing address. I come here to say, kind of puzzled a little bit, to say we don't have representation. 1824, Lorain County was formed. 200 years we've been using this system. In place, we have mayors, we have township trustees, we have villages, and I think the process has always been used as, if you're in your area, go to your trustees go to your commissioners, or whatever it is, to work out the issues. So when I hear that we say we don't have representation, I guess we're saying that our elected officials in those lower offices don't communicate with the county commissioners. That's the way I see it. I spent, as you guys know, I spent 16 years in Washington, D.C. working, and I heard every time that I was there, I heard people say, we need less government, less government. And I hear it when I come home here, now I move back here, and I hear less government, and we're creating more government. A couple questions I would ask is, the 60% on the 56,000, include benefits, not include benefits? The other piece I would say is, I would ask the budget director to be at this next meeting, to put a budget on, to see where we are on budget, how we're going to make the budget fit Lorain County, and does it work for the citizens? Because if we put 7 more people on, we cut the cost, but still the benefits. You still got pension, health care, workman's comp, everything goes in there. That's all above the 56,000. So when you come here, let's put everything out. Let's put everything on the table so that everybody understands it as citizens. My one last question is, if you're going to do this, I would ask you to put some kind of notification in the paper or something. Just don't put it on a resolution. I fortunately know how to go on the commissioner's website to look at an agenda item to know what's on the agenda. A lot of people don't. So we're going to do a public hearing. Let's do a public hearing. Not just do it on an agenda item to come here on the commissioners on a Tuesday morning when a lot of people work that are going to vote. So I would ask you to figure out how to put this on some type of agenda, how to notify the public that it's going to happen, and let everybody have their voice in it. Thank you for your time.
Right, Brian?
Well,
One small correction. Our Tuesday meeting on the 11th is at 5 p.m.
Okay, was that on the schedule then?
it's always,
It's always. it's been
Okay,
on.
you're right, it is 5
Yeah.
o'clock. You're right, sorry about that.
hey, it's
We're here
a
this
weekend before
morning.
the 4th, so
For
thank
the
you.
Yeah.
exact purpose that you mentioned.
But I mean, it's hard though, still people work till what? 4:30, 5 o'clock.
What time you want to meet? 9?
Well, I would say if you're gonna do it and open up to the public, let's open it up to the public, let's have a forum and let's have a meeting.
Okay.
Let's talk about it when everybody is available to come to the meeting. Thank you.
Thanks, Brian. Okay. Aiden, where's Aiden?
You just walked out, actually.
Okay. Well, I didn't identify earlier now, so. Okay, we'll go on to old business. Anybody? Nope.
No
Old
no.
business.
Board business. E9, approve and waive the reading of the county commissioners meeting minutes of June 27, 2023. There was 2 meetings that day.
Yep, so moved.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
10, amend resolution 19144 adopted March 13, 2019, entering into a participation agreement with CCAO Service Corporation regarding energy purchasing program. Said amendment is to Exhibit B to authorize manager with approval of the Energy Executive Committee to utilize its power of attorney, excuse me, to sign electric supply agreements in connection with the purchase of the consumption necessary to supply the aggregation for Lorain County and various other counties, and an increase from 1 kilowatt hours to 3 kilowatt hours.
So moved.
0.003, I should say.
Second.
Discussion. Commissioner Moore.
Aye.
Commissioner Riddell.
Aye.
Commissioner Hung.
Yes.
Job and Families, 11, amend Resolution 22641, adopted September 14, 2022, authorizing purchase service agreement with Lorain County Safe Harbor, Lorain, in the amount of $192,500 for a shelter for domestic violence victims in Lorain County using TANF and Title 20 funds. Amendment is to reflect an increase of the value of the contract by $192,500 for a new total contract of $385,000 to cover costs for the final months of the contract ending September 30th, 2023, and this will be paid from the TANF and Title 20 accounts.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion. Mr. Moore.
Aye.
Mr. Hung.
Yes.
Mr. Riddell.
Aye.
Airport 12, approve and enter in a 1-year extension of lease by way of concession between MRK Elyria, Ohio. Original lease entered into by and between the board and the leasee effective October 1st, 2003, the term of which ends on September 30th, 2023, is extended for a period of 1 year and will now expire September 30th of 2024.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
13, Children's Services, authorize and rescind various personnel in Lorain County Children's Services Department to utilize the agency's MasterCard for the year 2023, not to exceed $2,500 in accordance with the Ohio Revised Code and the permissible policy.
So moved.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Riddell?
Aye.
F, public comment.
Aiden, are you back? Oh, there he is.
Aiden Fogel, Sheffield Lake. So I just wanted to say real quick, at your meeting with, at Bistro 83 in North Ridgeville with the Secretary of State, Frank LaRose, didn't he tell you that there's been nothing but problems with the two current charters in Ohio? And he asked you if the name Jimmy DeMora rang a bell? I would hope that any members of the media today would reach out to Frank LaRose's office for comment. That's pretty much it. I mean, I can't see how each commissioner is going to receive $56,000 a year with no health benefits. I mean, if your little current clique wasn't pathetic enough, what would a group of part-time $56,000 a year commissioners consist of? This is just ridiculous, in my opinion. After your meeting with LaRose, I would have thought you would have abandoned this pipe dream, but I guess not. So that's it. I also have a concern about the Hills Consulting contract from June of 2021. It appears that Tom Williams has signed the contract without any authorization to do so, which would make that contract void ab initio and illegal. And I can't believe that you paid Hills Consulting $75,000 for a 63-page report, which 58 pages are copy and pasted sections of the Ohio Revised Code. If it wasn't bad enough that you paid $15,000 per page for 5 pages of nothing, then Dave and Jeff enter into a second contract with Hills Consulting for $7,500 per month for the first 3 months, then $12,500 per month every month thereafter until completion of the jail, which could take 4 or 5 years. $500,000 to a company that gave us nothing for $75,000. And you sit there scribbling on your notebook without the nerve to even look taxpayers in the eyes and expect us to believe that there isn't any corruption going on. Is the 7 districts pipe dream so important to you, Jeff, that you're playing Dave's lapdog and voting for whatever corrupt or negligent contract that he proposes? I thought you were going to be your own man and not Dave's puppet. And I think if you can come up with $90,000 a study, a contract for the radio system that was already approved by the prosecutor's office, you could come up with some money to help these children's services workers out with their health concerns.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
thank you.
I let you go longer than you should have. Okay, Brian Baker. Oh, you're good?
I just wanted to make sure if I ran out of time in the first one, I had
Oh, man. Well, you did run out of time, but I let you speak. Because yours was very whatever you want to say, it was very, substantive, yeah. It wasn't a Facebook rant, so I appreciate it. Okay, clerk's report. Do you have a clerk's report?
I do not have a report, but did you want to do county administrator?
I forgot about that guy, okay. County administrator, do you have a report?
Sure.
Sorry
Thank you,
about
Mr.
that.
President, Commissioners. Most recently, we passed, or you all passed, the resolution to support Lorain City to do microtransit and do circulars. That has prompted, rekindled many meetings in the last week or so with regards to the entire transportation problems that we have in Lorain County. Which are in Elyria, Oberlin, are all the communities that we've got here. And actually, it has prompted two conversations in the last week with RTA and the group as to extension of maybe their lines into Lorain Community College in North Ridgeville, as well as providing services along the corridor of I-90 to Lorain Community College in Elyria. So I just wanted to bring you up to date. And what I didn't know is back in 2017, the actual fixed routes that we do have in Lorain County, to ride the regular fare is only $2. If you're a senior, persons of disability, and you're a student, you only pay $1. And if you're a veteran, you ride for free in our transit system that we have provided. So I believe that Oberlin provides that same fees, but I'm not quite sure of that. But I know here in Elyria that that is provided. If you want to dial a ride, it's $9 and they'll pick you up at your house. And if you're, again, a senior, a disabled, or a student, it would be $4 and they'll actually pick you up at your house and provide you the services to where you want to go. So the transit number, if you really want to speak and get more information, Pamela Novak is the Chief Finance Officer, 440-329-5525. And the schedule, if you want to know the schedule, is 440-365-0224. And remember that the veterans ride for free. Moving on, Barb Tamas was appointed by the president of the National Association of County Human Services Administrators to be part of the national board. That appointment took place on June 26th of 2023. And to continue with our healthcare discussions, AMWINS will be sending the first letter out to all of the employees and those that are on our healthcare insurance program, which are the township trustees, and I believe NOACA's on there too, as we're grandfathered in. And that first letter will be going out the second week of July, if not the first Monday of the third week of July. So we're on schedule to move forward. It will be mostly electronic, and there'll be information will go out to all the employees and all the people as to how to actually, I went through it in North Ridgeville. It is not intimidating, yet some people might look at it, it is, because you have to, it's done electronically. If not, I'm sure that we can help any employee or any person out to make sure that we get the proper information. That completes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Administrator.
Thank you. It was a good meeting this week with transit. What we found out is, as I spoke at that meeting, that a lot of times just bringing people together will get things done. And I think Karen, with her knowledge and experience, there's some creative avenues we're moving forward on that you've already been working on. I don't know if you want to touch a little bit more on that, Karen, because it was, I think, a very effective and progressive meeting.
Absolutely, Commissioner.
Go ahead.
For me, the most exciting thing with Lorain County Transit right now is microtransit. And microtransit allows Lorain County Transit to be able to focus in the areas that are most populated throughout our county, whether that's the city of Elyria or the city of Lorain. We've also have learned recently a new way of being able to free up some match money that will allow Lorain County Transit to use some of its grant funds that we have available so that we don't lose those funds, they won't lapse. We'll be able to use those and provide these microtransit services in our populated areas at no cost to the citizens, at least for a pilot period of time, whether that's 1 year or 2 years. But more to come on that, hopefully within the next, well, it won't be the next board meeting because I'll be off on vacation that week, but maybe the following set of meetings.
Okay.
Yes,
Vacation.
yes, I do get vacation. So,
Okay, what's exciting about what we're talking about is they've tried, the commissioners have tried over the last couple of, probably 2 decades, to pass a transit tax. The county just won't support that. What we're looking at is really, it was the city of Lorain that came up with this micro-transit, even though I know you were already working on something similar. And the WAC is going to, this board here at the last minute, we were advised that we had to sign it, and we had less than 24 hours to act, and this board did act. And we signed the documents, and it got shipped off. And NOAC is going to support it in 2027. Okay, we have a lot of great things happening in Lorain County. A lot of economic development is coming our way, and I don't want to wait 5 years. So we talked a little bit about how the fact that the city of Lorain and the city of Elyria have always been very supportive of transit, but waiting 2 hours for your ride on a system that I don't see how people could wait 2 hours for a bus. So some of the concepts we're talking about is a system where you have two circular or two inner micro transits within our two largest committees or cities, similar to Sandusky has one too. And by doing so, our goal is to have a 30-minute wait instead of a 2-hour wait. And that might get enough buy-in within those communities where if it works, they can become self-sufficient or their local communities can support their own transit. So that's some of the concepts that we were talking about at that meeting. I thought, and then Karen was already way ahead of all of us because she's been working on it for some time. So just wanted to say a little shout out, thanks. And it's, I think the fact that we brought in United Way and all these other agencies in to sit down, we're finally getting the communication needed by those instead of everyone worrying about their own fiefdoms. It's nice to see everyone's starting to come together for the same goal. You know?
Right, and the partnerships, like you mentioned, United Way, the city of Lorain, the city of North Ridgeville, GRTA in Cleveland, you know, Oberlin. Oberlin basically has its own micro transit system that they've started several years ago that they pay for.
Mm-hmm.
And I do know that they're looking at trying to get electric vehicles that would actually be their transit in Oberlin. And there is, I should mention that we currently contract with First Transit to provide our transit services. And their contract expires at the end of this year. So we will be going out to bid for a provider for Lorain County Transit and hopefully be entering into a new contract with a vendor before the end of the year in order to carry on those services. And while we're doing that, we can massage the specification document to include like an alternate for the electric vehicle and also include how much that vendor would charge us for the microtransit services. So there's a lot of things happening in transit. It's pretty exciting. The biggest problem transit has had is obviously we serve where the population is, and there's a lot of areas in our county that just don't have the numbers to support a public transit system. So by doing these microtransits, we're going to be servicing those population areas and hopefully show that this is a value to them, and then they'll support it if there is an ask for a levy. A lot of talking.
Anyone else? Or?
Yes, thank you, Mr. President. Just for the benefit of the audience and for those that are watching us on TV, when Commissioner Moore says this has been an issue for decades, while serving at the Lorain County Community College Board, we did a study for transportation in Lorain County, and a student that needed public transportation who did not have their own, it would take between 6 and 7 hours of their life to attend one hour class, which obviously is it's not an inducement to become a student and improve your education. The result of that is the community sees today is 3 branch campuses, which is not terribly efficient and requires its own overhead, but that's how the college had to solve the transportation problem. In order to get the students, they had to move the college to the students because of the inability to have mass transportation that worked around the county. So this has been a long issue, and the micro systems that Lorain and now Elyria is thinking about may be the solution to take care of it. It'd be interesting to see how that works out, Karen, in our strategic planning process.
Absolutely.
Okay. Anyone else?
Board correspondence?
Move to waive the reading of the board correspondence.
Second?
Discussion. Commissioner Moore?
Aye.
Commissioner Hung?
Yes.
Commissioner Rindell?
Aye.
New business.
Yeah, the county employee asked if we could have a county day off today because I guess Taylor Swift's in Cincinnati. I said, I don't think that would pass. You guys think I'm kidding? I've really had that asked, so.
Wow.
So at least officially we can say it died on the vine. Thank you. Okay.
Died for lack of a second.
But we do have Tuesday off.
Oh, yeah, well, yeah, we are open on Monday.
We are
I can't guarantee you a lot of the staff will be here, but, yeah, we are off for, 4th of July on Tuesday. Our next meeting is gonna be July 11th. I hope those in attendance here today will attend. I think it'll be a historic, debate, conversation, and the step one in order to allow the public of this county to have a choice. And that's the main thing is to allow people the ability to choose. So, looking forward to July 11th. Thank you. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you, everybody, for coming in. We do appreciate it. Thank you all. Yep.
45 minutes.
Yeah. And the plane is up here to kind of continually advertise the July 8th event. We're done, Victor, if you want to.